You know what's strange? The quietest girl in the room is often the one who understands people the most. Not the loud one, not the one dominating the conversation, the quiet one, the one watching everything. People usually describe girls like this with the same words: mysterious, hard to read, emotionally distant. But most of the time, that's not true. Quiet girls usually aren't cold. Their brains just learned a different way to deal with emotions. And it often starts much earlier than people think. Imagine being younger. Something stressful happens. You feel overwhelmed, confused, maybe even a little scared. But there isn't always someone there to help you process it. So your brain adapts. Instead of waiting for someone else to calm things down, it learns to do it on its own. You start thinking before reacting. You watch situations more carefully. Over time, that habit becomes automatic. Psychologists call this emotional self-regulation. People who develop it early often become very perceptive adults. They start noticing things others miss. A small change in someone's tone, a pause in a sentence, a tiny shift in facial expression. While everyone else is talking, their brain is collecting information, watching, processing, understanding. But there's a trade-off. When you get used to solving problems internally, asking for help can feel unfamiliar. Not because you don't trust people, but because your brain learned something early. Handle it yourself first. So when something goes wrong, you don't panic. You pause. You observe the situation. You think about the possibilities. And by the time others even notice the problem, you've already started figuring it out. From the outside, this can look like emotional distance. But psychologically, it's something different. Your brain simply learned to build stability from the inside. And that explains something interesting about quiet girls: their calmness. When everyone else is panicking, they often stay surprisingly steady. When your brain grows up handling stress internally, chaos becomes familiar. And when chaos feels familiar, panic loses some of its power. Instead of reacting instantly, the brain slows things down. Observe, evaluate, respond. Over time, this creates an interesting dynamic in social groups. The quiet girl often becomes the stable one, not the loudest person, not the center of attention, but the person people turn to when things start falling apart. And there's another reason people find her mysterious. She doesn't chase attention, not because she lacks confidence, but because attention was never what made her feel secure. For many quiet observers, confidence comes from something else: competence. Knowing that if life gets difficult, they'll figure it out. People who observe more than they speak also develop strong pattern recognition. Their brains connect behaviors over time. They notice contradictions. They see patterns in how people act, which means they sometimes understand situations long before others do. And that can make them seem even more mysterious. Not because they're hiding something, but because they're seeing things others haven't noticed yet. So maybe the quiet girl everyone wonders about isn't distant at all. Her brain simply learned something early. Stability doesn't always come from the outside world. Sometimes you build it yourself. And while the world often rewards the loudest voices, she built something quieter, something deeper. And in a world full of noise, that kind of quiet strength is more powerful than most people realize. If this felt a little personal, maybe you belong here. Subscribe and stay with us. I'd truly love to have you in this little pink corner of the internet.